But what you have to understand is the solution to this is for you to lean into your masculine core, to embrace your desires and to freely express them.
Now, I actually agree with everything he just said right there about you as a guy got to learn to lean into your masculinity. You got to learn what those manly things are within you that are going to really keep women around, right? Here is where we come into a problem. And the problem is simply this, is that today, a lot of men, unfortunately, come from single parent households. And a lot of those single parent households are being run by their moms, by women, right? And it is my belief wholeheartedly that women cannot teach men how to tap into their masculinity in a way that is going to attract women. Because women are typically the ones that of the two sexes are going to be the ones that play it safe. I remember after my dad died, we were in Boy Scouts for a couple of years, and my mom pulled us out of Boy Scouts because we went on a ski trip one year during the wintertime where the day we were supposed to leave, like it was in West Virginia. And the day we were supposed to leave, it was a really big winter storm. And our scout leader was like, oh, we're going to get home because we didn't pay extra to stay in this lodge next day. We're going to get home. And so we drove overnight in a van on a snowy road. We stopped to stay at like a motel for the night. And then the next day we all got back into this cold van and we made it home. Now, me at the time, I wasn't bothered by it. I'm like, okay, this is just part of the adventure. But we got home. My mom, who again had lost my dad up to 2 years prior, right? She was still in that phase where it's like we're her whole world. And so she doesn't want to do anything that's going to make us potentially like get killed or unalived or whatever, right? So she felt some kind of way about her sons being driven through the mountains in the snow. And so when we got dropped off at the house, we got out of the van. We saw her mom. I think she went up to the van and like maybe yelled at the scoutmaster, whatever like that. And that was the last day we were in Boy Scouts because it was just too much of a danger. Had my dad been alive, it would have been like, this is what you do as a guy. You figure out how to survive. You suck it up. You get home. And so no knock on my mom. My mom herself will tell you she did the best job she could with two boys. She tried to get us around other male mentors, but she knew that women, as her as a woman, could not teach me how to be a man. And so women today will say, I play both the father and the mom. And I'm like, you don't do that. Like, you think you're playing the dad part. You're really not. You can't. You as a woman will never, ever, ever, ever be able to help another guy tap into his masculinity. Unfortunately, because a lot of guys come from that, we don't know how to do what he just said to do. What did he just say? He said, you got to tap into your masculinity. But how do you do that when you're being raised by women who haven't taught you how to do that? And so I know a lot of people that watch my show, they grew up under single parent households. They grew up with moms that were crazy and could be off kilter with their emotions and whatnot. But what happens is whatever kind of behavior you grow up under and you see on a regular basis, that's the behavior you're going to think is okay to then do in your adult life. And so what happens is we have a lot of adult men out there that women are complaining about, but unfortunately, those men were not taught how to actually tap into their masculinity from other men. And there's another video I saw that actually perfectly taps into this. Bring it to the table here.
Teach our sons sometimes how to be abused by women, because in the presence of being their moms, we silence their voices. We don't give them the ability to speak up for themselves because we're trying so hard to be strong that we can't teach them how to be emotionally intelligent.
And that's important, right? Because what she's saying is basically, it's the whole thing of like, I'm the mom, I'm the parent, you do what I say. A lot of single parent moms have the thought of like kids are to be talked to and not heard or whatever it is. And so, yeah, I was fortunate because my mom worked with Big Brothers Big Sisters. She grew up like knowing the psychology of families and stuff like that. So even though I didn't have a dad around, I very much had a mom that understood that, during the teenage years is a time when kids are going to make mistakes, but they need to have the open space to be able to practice things like making leadership decisions, being able to talk about things that are bothering them in a constructive way. So even though there were times that my mom might have disagreed about some stuff that we were going through, we would all sit down, me, my brother, her, we'd be able to sit down, have conversations. She would practice letting us, voice our opinions without being rude or disrespectful, but just being able to have that ability to have conversations that were like calm, cool, and collected, when we're going through stuff or have differing opinions, and there'll be times where she'd be like, hey, you're absolutely right. I understand where you're coming from. There'll be times where we'll be like, I understand where you're coming from, but as the parent, I got to put these rules down, and here's why. So funny enough, though, I found that doing that around women in my dating life, a lot of women also grow up with single moms who have not taught them that skill set. And that of the two, I was actually the better communicator, because they would be the ones that would get overly emotional, fly off the handle, not want to listen, would interrupt when I'm talking, all that other stuff, right? So what she's saying here is like, yeah, like they're not giving their boys the space to actually learn how to even have emotionally intelligent conversations, because they're too busy yelling at these kids and not really teaching them the ins and outs of what it means to be a masculine guy. Because again, as women, how can they do that?
And so they learn to be quiet. And so we get mad when we see women abusing our sons, but we taught them that. We taught them how to be silent when women get loud. We taught them how to shrink when women start crying. We taught them how not to use their voice, but to use their fist, because, shut up, boy, boys are strong. And because of that, by not teaching them emotional intelligence, we put them in a position where they become punching bags for women who are just like us.
Ain't that ironic? They basically are teaching men to become the men that they themselves don't want. And they're not being honest with their sons about how, like, hey, even if your dad's not here, these are the qualities that I actually, in hindsight, realized I liked about him. And because what will happen is men will grow up with this idea that their mom fell for a toxic guy, therefore they need to also be a toxic guy if they want to get women. And I don't think even women at times are really good at highlighting, but he had these features here that I could see as being more masculine traits. He was assertive. He knew how to come after me. He put it down really good in the sack. He knew how to talk to me and put me in my place. These are things that if a woman's been scorned, she's not going to teach her sons to do, because she doesn't want her son to go out there and trick women the same way that she felt she got tricked. But she's also not teaching him skills that would make him be good for a woman also, And so that's where a lot of guys, unfortunately, lose out. Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Harry Dating Convos. Don't forget to visit HarryWilmington.com to download my free ebook, Texting Women Like a Boss. And while you're there, if you're ready to take things to the next level with your dating life, check out the Get Girls Academy membership program for exclusive strategies and live coaching. Go to HarryWilmington.com to learn more and join today. Lastly, if you've got a question you'd like answered on one of these shows, leave a comment below or write me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.